I become very suspicious when we get into this modern technology. This is MUSAU, Matt Meacham Jr., signing in on one of his networks. Hello everyone, come on television, come on Sivan, Assalamu alaikum, Barako, and what's up, bro? I'm gonna take a little time off on my broadcast because I have some issues that I have to deal with as far as my publishing and everything, and my writing. So the next time that I think the next time that I give a broadcast will probably be when I get back to US. I'm getting ready. In fact, maybe I won't release this. Well, maybe. I probably will release this before I leave, but I'm getting ready to head back to the United States of America. That's the place of my birth. Did you hear what I said? That is the place of my birth, which makes me an American citizen. And the thing is, I think I should be in the land of my birth at this point in time. So many things are happening in the world. It looks like things are happening in Africa that are getting very scary. It seems like war is getting ready to break out. And it's quite interesting who's fighting the wars and why they are fighting the wars. The thing is, if you're the general or the colonel, you're in charge of a regiment, you're in charge of 100 men, 2,000 men and women on your team, in your regiment, but you're the colonel, or you're the captain, or you're the general. You know, what happens is, if you're the general, or if you're the captain, or if you're the major, or even the sergeant, the likelihood of your being shot down is less than the likelihood of the man on the front line. So, if you're the general, and if you're the captain, or if you're the sergeant, you can say to 100 men, go out there and fight. And you know that maybe one or two of those men or women, who's ever in your regiment or in your team, you know that 2 or 3 of them may be coming back even though you sent out 100. So you send out 100 men to go out in battle and only 3 return. That means that 97 men you had control over the lives of 97 dead human beings who went to combat. It's interesting how that military thing is. If you're a general, you may make it back home. If you're a captain, you may make it back home. If you're a sergeant, maybe you'll make it back home. But if you're a private, there's a big possibility that you will not make it back home. And this is what's going on earth, as long as we can remember, as long as we can study history. Men have gone out to war only to die for a cause or a principle. Wars are eternal, it seems. Is there a place on this earth where there is not war? Even if we go into the Amazons or go into the darkest jungles of Africa, And these primitive people who live in these places, they have to fight to survive. Maybe only 100, 200 or 300, maybe that's a big number when they're living, these natives that live in the jungle who fight each other. Maybe they kill maybe 40 or 50 of each other in the jungles of Africa, in the jungles of South America, and so forth. But if you live in a civilized world, when the war breaks out, no, it's not 100, it's not 20, but thousands of human souls die. It seems like it's a continuous process. And it makes no difference who is in charge of a country, a certain part of the world, whether it's Alexander the Great, the pharaohs, Hitler, Stalin, Donald Trump, Putin. When you sit where they're sitting, hundreds of thousands can die and will die under your command. So that's how the world is structured. And it seems that we can do nothing about it. There will always be war. There will always be suffering, it seems. So it seems to me that there will always be war, and there will always be suffering. Then there must be some place in the sky, a pie in the sky, where there's total peace, where men live in harmony, where there's no bloodshed, there are no arguments over minerals. Why don't men fight wars? For territory. Why do men fight wars? For the minerals of the earth. Why do men fight wars? They fight wars for revenge. I know in World War I, what happened was, one man was killed, I think he was a leader, or some man from one country, a leader was killed by a man from another country, World War I. That started World War I. One man was killed, and hundreds of thousands had to pay the price. Whether the price was on side B, or whether the price would be on side C. There will always be war. There will always be struggle. And men will call in vain for peace. But there will be no peace. For it seems that the natural way of man is to fight. Now, where do we stand? Where do we stand as artists? Okay, where do we stand as writers? We record and react to the natures, to the habits of man. I think that's why the people aspire to be writers, and people begin to write. Michelangelo, Da Vinci, you can write and you can change history. You can write and you can change history. Oh, they said that now, in our time, they say that Jesus Christ was a black man. But for the last hundreds of years, it was emphasized that Jesus Christ was a white man. Who made that decision? Who made people believe this, or who made people believe that? those guys who wrote history. Those guys who rewrote history. So it seems that we are caught in it seems to me that we're just caught in a cycle that we cannot control. We would talk more as soon as I get situated. I'm getting ready to make my move. I'm going back home. Home, to me, is the United States of America. I've lived in Africa. I've lived in Africa over 10 years in different places. And I've experienced Africa in different ways. Well, when I go to Kenya, I'm a foreigner. When I go to Uganda, I am a foreigner. No matter where I go on this continent, though I claim my birthright, I am a foreigner. So be it. Blessed be the name of the Lord. But I know when the last time I left U.S., I said I'm going back to Africa, and let's see. Let me make Africa my home. But the thing is, though I am African, I am a foreigner in Africa. No matter what country I go to, no matter what language they speak, I am a foreigner. And no matter how I try to shift in this direction or shift in that direction or understand in this direction, I am a foreigner. Why can't I? Well, you are a foreigner. So let me go back home, the home of my birthright. So I don't know if I don't know when I'll publish this particular video. I may publish it immediately, depending on my mood. And after my contemplations, then I'll publish this video. Now, if my contemplations bring this video to you within the next few days, then something in me said, go on and publish that video. But at this point in time, I'm in the process of relocating. Not necessarily relocating. It's just going through the process. I've had good times. I met good people here in Africa. But the thing, there is a reality that I have to face. Who am I? Where do I belong? So the thing is, well, I've spent over a decade in the total amount of time that I've spent out of our homeland. I guess we're talking about maybe 15 years that I've lived in Africa and, back and forth. There have been times that I've just, I've traveled home and then I've come back. But I think, I'm a senior citizen. And the thing is, I, I, I feel that I should be able to relax. You know, I should find me a place under the sun where I can lay under the sun, like under a tree, where there's peace. There's no peace in Africa. And until Africa can find the peace, Africa will always be disturbed. Though I am the product of African slavery, my home is where my forefathers slaved and died and were buried in that land. So I'm on my way home, for I have a home. And despite the weaknesses, despite the discrepancies, despite the shortcomings, I am an American. Whether you like it or not. And this is MUSAU, Matt Beecham Jr., signing out.